Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll call the meeting to order. This is a city commission meeting for September 16th, 2024. Could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Smith is absent. Weinreich?
Here.
Gregg?
Here.
Harvey?
Here.
Mayor Robish?
Present. Please stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda approval. Anyone have anything they would like to add to the agenda?
I'd make a motion to approve. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Weinreich?
Aye.
Gregg?
Aye.
Harvey?
Aye.
Mayor Robish?
Aye. Public forum. Public forum is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and address for the record. Do we have anyone here that would like to speak on public forum tonight? And if not, I have a proclamation I would like to present to the direct support professionals from Huron. And with us tonight, we have Dawn Eden and some of her clients with her, so I'd ask you to come on up.
Do you want me to take a picture with your phone?
Let's see.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, come on up here, sir.
Okay,
All right.
I'm Jay.
Jay? Glad to meet you, Jay. I'm Mark.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Definitely,
I'm gonna read this proclamation for you, okay?
yeah.
You guys wanna come on up? Come on up. Okay, first of all, I would like to apologize to Dawn and her people. This was last week, and we did not get this prepared in time for last week. So it's tonight, and it's for last week. So, this proclamation says, Direct Support Professional Recognition Week. Whereas direct support professionals are an integral part of the long-term care system that serves people with intellectual, developmental, and physical disabilities or limitation inherent. And by providing an array of personal care services to people who require assistance with personal hygiene, mobility, medications, meal preparation, transportation, and other vital daily living activities. Direct support professionals enable people to remain successfully in their homes and avoid costly institutional care. And direct support professionals provide essential support to help keep a person with developmental disabilities connected to their family, friends, and community. And the City of Huron wishes to thank and commend direct support professionals for helping promote the health, safety, and emotional well-being, as well as their independence in conclusion, thus offering these individuals the opportunity to live more meaningful and productive lives in this community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark Robish, the mayor of the City of Huron, South Dakota, hereby proclaim September 8th through 14, 2024 as Direct Support Professional Recognition Week in Huron, and recognize the dedication and contribution of direct support professionals from the Center for Independence in supporting individuals with disabilities and their families. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Huron to be affixed the 16th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2024. Thank you very much, Dawn.
Do a picture?
All right.
Ready? 1, 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more. One more. 1, 2, 3.
there's always room for
Thank you.
improvement.
Yep, thank you.
Sure there is.
Yeah,
When you have some improvement for us, you let us know what that is, and we'll help.
well, you know,
help us.
I know that smokers have a bad reputation, but I think it should be allowed people to smoke in the smoke shops.
We'll discuss that, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Jay,
Thank you for coming.
you know where to find me, right? You come and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We'll see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah. How's that, Russell?
Excuse me. All right, moving on to consent agenda. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. Our consent agenda tonight consists of 4.1 minutes of September 9, 2024, 4.2 fuel quotes for city departments, 4.3 consider the resignation of Dan Campbell from the Board of Historic Preservation effective September 10th, 2024. 4.4 personnel items. Accept the job description for human resource generalist and advise to fill this position. Hire Jenna Waldner as a 911 telecommunicator for the police department. And 4.5 payment of the bills.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion approved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Weinreich,
Aye.
Craig,
Aye.
Harvey,
Aye.
Mayor Roberts.
Aye. Moving on to petitions and communications. 6.1, consider request from Vincent and Taryn Euler to waive sidewalk requirement. I'm going to turn this over to City Planner Barry Cranston, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We received this request late last week, and the Oilers are building a new home out in Lake Heights Edition, out by Ravine Lake out there. And so they have asked that, since there are no other, paraphrasing their letter, and that's in your packet, they have asked that they be allowed to waive that requirement that we have in our office to require sidewalks for any new construction of new homes. With that, for various reasons, all of the staff in my office, including the city engineer, the city building inspector, and myself, for various reasons, including, we've had other people request to be exempted from this requirement before, and this body has elected to leave the requirement in place. And then, because there is an existing city ordinance that does require this, and the city engineer actually went on to say that he recommended to deny the request based on the fact that city ordinance and federal highway standards require sidewalks to be provided adjacent to all public streets for all properties, regardless of the surrounding conditions. And that's in order to comply with other ADA requirements. So he went on in further detail than just what Chris and I did. And so with that, we recommended to deny the request.
Okay. I would ask, we have Mrs. Euler in the crowd tonight.
Okay.
Taryn, would you come up to the podium, please? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I just, there's gonna be some discussion, so I would like you to, if you would like to add anything that Mr. Cranston had, or if it's...
And we did include your letter, so it was
Yeah.
very well written, thank you.
I totally understand the requirement, it makes perfect sense. If all of the homes in our neighborhood already had sidewalks, it would be a non-issue for us, we would not have brought it up, but we would be the only house in the entire neighborhood with a sidewalk. So it would be unusable because it would dead end into grass into our neighbors' neighbors' lots. So it would be an unusable sidewalk if we did put it in, because we are not in an undeveloped part of the neighborhood. We're in an established, developed part of the neighborhood, so we have neighbors surrounding us. So in our area, we would be the only house that would have a sidewalk. So nobody would use it. They would be walking on the street anyways, because they would only use it in front of our one house.
Okay, and thank you for that explanation, and I think we're all aware of where you're building, and that's fine, I'm glad you explained that. I'm gonna give you just a little bit of history, because we could go back a long time, but I'm gonna give you just a short version, I hope, of our sidewalk thing. Way back before I was on the city commission, I was on the sidewalk task force, a long time ago. And we had a thing put in, we had an ordinance put in place then that if your new construction abated up to an old construction with sidewalk, you had to put it in. That was our first thing way back. We still got no sidewalks. So fast forward to January, in November, December of 2020. The commission discussed it again in very long detail, very long length. And anyway, we came up with January 1st, 2021. From then on, any new construction had to have sidewalks. Some have fallen through the cracks, and partly our fault, partly homeowners' faults, whatever. We will all have to take the blame for that. Since then, we have put in several that have had to put in sidewalks to nowhere. And yours would be in that case, a sidewalk to nowhere. The only thing I can say is the future development. I know there's some more going up out there. I don't know when, that doesn't matter, but that's the long and short of the whole thing. We've talked about sidewalks for at least 20 years that I know about. And we put our names in the cement on the sidewalk January 1st, 2021. And we haven't backed down from that, except for the ones that we didn't, I'll say it like this, that we didn't catch. It was our fault, but no one brought it up to us, and I guess we didn't go out and look, I guess. So we are very, it's one of our stipulations, I think, to a building permit on new construction. It's right in there, it has to have a sidewalk in there. Some of them go to nowhere, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but maybe someday they'll all go to someplace. I guess that's where we came up with that.
So would it be required in the future for the rest of the houses in our neighborhood to put in sidewalks? Or would my sidewalk remain a sidewalk to nowhere?
I think everybody's goal up here is for everybody to have sidewalks at some point. I don't think any of us know how or what that looks like at this time, but that is what the community wants, and that is what I think we want, or I do at least. So.
All new, to answer that
All
question.
new, and I would like to see them in established neighborhoods. It's been discussed in the past. We need to get sidewalks back into where they were missing at the previously. So eventually, in my opinion at least, within the next, I couldn't put a time frame on it, but our goal would be for all these neighborhoods to have sidewalks.
We couldn't force them to put sidewalks in. Let's say to the south of you. We couldn't force them to put them in, because it's not new construction. We would hope that they would like to match up to your, and continue, and their neighbors continue, and their neighbors continue, and whatever. That's kind of the incentive, but we can't force that.
So there would be no more new construction in my area, because we were the last, at least on our circle, where we're building. On both sides of us, there are houses. So if they don't put in a sidewalk, then.
Yeah,
Again,
I guess I just don't understand, because it would be unusable, so why would it be required to have it if nobody would use it?
right, and
And then I would
if I was
incur
in
that
your,
cost to put in an unusable sidewalk.
and if I was in your boat, I would come and make the same request, cause I get it from a common sense standpoint. But again, to Commissioner Harvey's point, that we have to have some of these out there that exist like that for a while, because otherwise, whatever project we do to fill in all the other spots is even harder. Every one that we say, okay, I guess you don't have to, okay, I guess you don't have to, and that's, this predates my time, but to Mark's point, that's what was happening, is one house doesn't have it, so then the one next to it says, well, I shouldn't have to have it, but then the next one down says, I shouldn't have to have it. There's only, I think, 2 more lots in all of Lake Heights, so
Right, so
beyond
if it's
you, there's
required
only
now,
gonna be
then
a
it would only be
couple.
2 lots.
Right.
Cause the neighborhood is already built up, so
Right.
it's not a developing neighborhood.
But two, so Mark said we don't have a way to require it. I guess I would amend that somewhat and say, we can't require it in the same way that we are now by tying it to a building permit, but it is very possible that whatever plan we develop in the future, there probably, if realistically, whatever sidewalk plan there is, and it's been going on, there's a folder this thick on sidewalks in Huron. When that comes, there will be some part of it that will be compulsory. I mean, that's just the fact. If we want to have good quality sidewalks throughout town, there are existing homes that don't have them. In order to fix the problem, there would have to be some way. Now, whether or not that can be offset with some other funding, I don't know, but the fact is, there is a very good chance that your neighbors on either side of you at some point would have a requirement that they need to put them in. So hopefully, for the life of your house, and in your letter, you said this is your forever home, for the first X number of years, as Sean said, we can't put years on it, it's not gonna make a lick of sense, but hopefully, by staying strong on this, and the others throughout the community, like yours, where there's one sidewalk and nobody on the other side, hopefully, once we finally can enact that plan we want, that all those other pieces will fill in, and everyone will say, okay, well, now I get why they made us do that. But if I was a homeowner building in your neighborhood, I would come make the same request you are. It totally makes sense, but unfortunately, this was, again, before my time. I came on in 21, but I completely understand where they were coming from. You kinda have to draw a line in the sand and just say, even if it doesn't make sense, we gotta start somewhere. Because if we want the long-term goal to be sidewalks everywhere, we have to start somewhere. So hopefully, someday it'll make a lot of sense, and you can stop cussing us out at that point. When we put them on either side of you. I can't tell you when that will be, but hopefully there'll be a time when you'll say, okay, I guess it makes sense. And I will say, to your point, one thing that I'm confused, this is my 5th year on the commission. I know there have been homes that have been built in Lake Heights since then, and I just went and drove around. There's not one sidewalk on any of those. So that's a question I would like to understand, is how that happened, because I know since this has been in place, there have been some houses built up there, and the entire time that I've sat on this commission, we've never granted one of these variance requests to that neighborhood. So I'm not 100% sure how those are slipping through the cracks, but I mean, ultimately, there's all kinds of research that shows a healthy, quality city has good quality walking paths and sidewalks. So that's the ultimate goal. You just get caught up as one of the casualties along the way, unfortunately.
And it's unfortunate that you're here alone, because you're not alone. You're not alone, that's at all.
Does it make any difference that the neighborhood has the wider streets as opposed to the more narrow streets as the other neighborhoods in the town?
Actually, they're not, they're wider than a good share of them, but
I think they're 66 foot,
they are.
and on 80-foot right-of-ways.
Oh.
So it'll be about 7 feet, I believe about 7 feet in most cases, 7 feet boulevard on either side,
I see, okay.
I believe.
Sorry about that. I know, because that discussion has come up in that neighborhood. And that neighborhood, supposedly, it was a word-of-mouth, shake-of-hand deal that the sidewalks were omitted. That's what we were told. And I understand that, but Again, if your children were out on the street, walking on the street and got hit, I'm not sure who all would be liable for that. I'm not sure, I guess, but that's part of our sidewalk that was part of our sidewalk discussion. Because where there were sidewalks, like Rich said, where there were some sidewalks that were completely dysfunctional, we didn't have a program to go in there and say, you will fix your sidewalk. Like, I know some cities, I have a daughter that lives in another city in South Dakota, and they came right out and they put a red X on every section of the sidewalk that had to be, and they had X amount of time to get it done, or else the city came in and did it. They hired somebody to come in and do it, which was substantially higher than what it was if you found someone to do it yourself. But there was no questions asked. They didn't say, can we come out and inspect your sidewalks? They came out and they marked them, and that was part of the program. But to say who would be liable if your children are in the street when there is a right-of-way designated, I'm not sure that, I don't know that we would be liable, but we wanna make sure we're not.
But it's hard to sit up here and say, yes, put in a sidewalk to nowhere. But it is easy for me to sit up here and say, yes, I need you to put in a sidewalk because our long-term goal is to have sidewalks. That's our long-term goal. What that looks like right now, we don't know, but that is what we want our community to have.
That makes sense. I totally see the vision, and I understand respectfully. I'm just worried about being a neighborhood pariah now that I'm gonna be the first house, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, now we're gonna get our
But you
sidewalks,
can
so.
blame all of that on us.
Yeah, you can.
And I'm sure we'll hear it.
Yeah, we will,
You did your part.
and that's fine.
And you pled your case,
Yeah,
yeah, from
that's
that
right.
standpoint, you don't have to worry, we'll be the bad guys.
I have one thing. Commissioner Weinreich, have you heard the conversation?
Yes, I have.
Do you have anything you wanna add?
Nothing further. I think it was
Okay.
spoken by the commissioners and the mayor, kind of our stance as a commission where we are on the sidewalks. And I do apologize as well that at this time it doesn't make much sense, and hopefully you'll understand, but I wouldn't be in support of approving that request.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Could it be something where when everyone else in the neighborhood is required to put in their sidewalks, that we put in ours? Could it just be deferred to a later time when everyone else puts theirs in? Is that an option?
I don't know that, well,
The problem gets to be, and again, it's not just a discussion with you guys, it's a precedence for throughout the city.
Sure.
When we have the building permit, and we can say you don't get an approved building permit until that's done, that's an easy mechanism for us to remain in control. Once we grant the building permit and say later on you're gonna have to do it, it's much more difficult. And again, I'm not saying that for you guys, I know you would follow through, but in terms of setting a precedence, there may be some homeowners that once they no longer have that piece hanging over them, it might be hard to get follow through. Or if it's enough years down the road, it might be hard to track and remember who said they would, and then if the house sells before it happens, and now I wasn't the one that agreed to, so that's part of where, again, it's sticky, it's unfortunate for you, but really the only simple way we have is to say, at the time that we have the building permit, we need to have folks follow through.
Okay.
And that deferral, this body has granted a deferral in one occasion since I've been the planner, and that was because of the fact that it was going to be part of a citywide transportation plan and to be included for routes to schools. And so there was federal money available along some of the neighborhood over on Arizona and possibly over by Madison School. There could have been some possible grant money there, and so we allowed one property owner to defer half of his property.
Right.
because it was in line with that other route to school program. And then frankly, we haven't been approved yet for that transportation plan, and in part because of all of the ARPA projects and all the streets are all torn up and all of that stuff, and so it's just been too crazy to get back to that part of the problem. It just was not a priority. So there has been one occasion when we did do that, but it was for that purpose, and so it was, otherwise, nobody else has been granted that request, so.
Because it's something that comes up a lot for us. Well, we have to remember we can sit here and talk to you about your property, but we have to remember that whatever we grant to your property then has the potential to be precedent for all the properties that come after.
And one thing I would like to say, I agree with Commissioner Harvey and Commissioner Bragg and Weinreich, but for me, it's not and I don't think for any of them, it's not the control of what we want the Oilers to do. That's got nothing to do with control. It's control of the community. It's control of their city, not control of the Oilers, what they have to do and whatever. So that's a strong word to throw out there, but that's what it is. We have to control how we negotiate the rules of our city, that's all.
Well, I thank you for your time and appreciate you guys hearing me out. Like I said, if I wouldn't even be here to contest anything if there were sidewalks, but your vision
Yep.
makes sense,
Well,
and
we
I just
knew-
appreciate you guys hearing me out.
We anticipated that, and so.
We'll
yeah.
let you know the next time the sidewalk task force gets back together, you can be a member.
Yeah.
If I had to do this, you guys have to do it.
I'll buy a new suit.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Okay, so we haven't taken any action on this actually, so I wanted her to hear her explanation before we made a motion, so that's fine.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'd move to deny.
Motion to deny request.
That's second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Weinreich,
Aye.
Bragg,
Aye.
Harvey.
Aye.
Mayor Robish.
Aye. Okay, moving on to departmental items. Consider approval of the training proposal and agreement with Mitchell Technical College and authorize the Human Resource Manager to sign. So I would like Shawnee Starrett on her way up to explain this to us.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. As part of our commitment as an employer to provide professional training to our management staff, I'm proposing that we contract with Mitchell Technical College to offer their Leadership Academy at our Huron Community Campus for our department heads, our foremen, deputies, to give them that opportunity for continuing education and to enhance their leadership skills. Executive Director Doug Peets and I both met with Dr. Ryan Benzie from Mitchell Technical College. They have quite a wide or broad Leadership Academy program, and what we talked to him about was, something that we could provide our leadership, our management staff to enhance their leadership skills and to develop a strong leadership culture amongst us, our employees. So this would be 2 semesters next year. There would be 12 participants. The same 12 participants would be in both semesters so that they could cover all the necessary training. And then they would each participant would receive 3 college credits per semester. It would be a combination, kind of a hybrid class combination of face-to-face meetings and online classes. And one thing that I really like about their Leadership Academy program is that everything we pay for, we own. So they're gonna be training us on Microsoft Word, Excel, videos, things like that, OneNote, all of the computer software that we already use in all of our departments. And they're gonna provide us with templates and tools that then we can use and continue to use throughout the years. So that's one thing that I really like about their program. And they also offer to tailor it to our needs, and so that, so we can utilize it to the best, for our team. So I am proposing that, I'm authorized to sign a one-year contract with Mitchell Technical College for the year 2025. And, if this is successful, which it will be, it would be, I'd be looking at like a total of a 3-year commitment to get the training offered to all of our management staff, because we have about 36 employees to get everybody through.
Okay.
I would make the motion that we approve the training program and authorize the human resource manager to sign.
Second.
Any questions for Shauna? Drew, you have anything?
No, sir.
I would, so I know Doug talked about, so these credits, I mean, they would count as continuing ed credits for folks that need them.